It is December 1st, 8:43 in the morning. It's a balmy 5 degrees outside, unless you count wind chill. It's 1 degrees outside. We have a bright, clear day. It's the perfect day to use my favorite solar oven, the Solavore Sport Oven. Let's get cooking. I'm out here in our backyard in actually my wife's herb garden boxes. Built those last fall, and she'll be using these in the spring to grow herbs. Thought this would be a good south-facing direction for the solar oven. So we've got it facing the sun, and we're going to let it preheat here while we get the ingredients ready to make dinner. I don't know if you can see the temperature there, but it's straight down to the bottom. We'll let this preheat while we get things together. If you watch my channel for a while, you've seen me cook a lot of yummy things in this solar oven. Although I've never used the reflectors, so today, being winter and very cold, I thought I'd use the reflectors and see how well that goes. I really like the flavor of slow cooked food, like crock pot cooking, and so I'm hoping to keep the temperature somewhere between 150 and 200 today. So what to cook? We discussed making some pumpkin soup, which is amazing, and there's a great recipe from the Solavore Solar Oven cooking website. But we've got some great spaghetti squash. I love spaghetti squash. So we're going to cook up some spaghetti squash for dinner, and for dessert, some apple crisp. Love apple crisp. So let's get to work. My wife has selected one of the smaller spaghetti squash, so it'll fit easily into the graniteware pot that comes with the Solavore Solar Oven. I'm going to go ahead and wash the spaghetti squash, cut the end off, cut it in half, scoop the seeds out, and get it seasoned. By the way, let me tell you how we determine whether our spaghetti squash is ripe or not. This should work on all winter squashes, which is a hard shell squash. When this starts ripening, it turns from green to a nice yellow, maybe orange, but that may not be ripe yet. The way that we check is we take our thumbnail or fingernail and we push into the skin of the squash, and if it doesn't leave a mark, then the squash is ripe. This squash is ripe and ready to eat. I'm using a canning lid to scrape out the seeds. Here we are in our geothermal greenhouse collecting the herbs for dinner. We've got rosemary, oregano, thyme, parsley, and chives. Here's our parsley, and the other herbs are in pots. Those will go out into my wife's herb garden this coming spring. Until then, we've got them in here staying nice and warm in the geothermal greenhouse. My wife has picked the herbs off the stems, and here she's cutting up the parsley. We'll be mixing these together and then adding them to the spaghetti squash. Now that we have the herbs ready, we'll take some melted coconut oil and coat the spaghetti squash. Imagine you can also use butter if you want, or something else, but we really like coconut oil. It's healthy and it's good tasting. Now we're just grating salt and pepper to taste, and adding the nice mix of fresh herbs. We've got the squash in the pot, got the lid on it, now it's ready to go out into the oven. The advantage of using these dark pots is that it absorbs more energy and will cook the food more evenly and more consistently. In the few minutes it took us to prepare the spaghetti squash, the solar oven has reached about 125 degrees. So it's warmed up a bit. We're going to go ahead and put the spaghetti squash in and then get the apple crisp ready. Here in southeast Idaho, we're known for a lot of wind. And one thing I really like about this Solavore solar oven is its low profile. As I talk to other people who own the boxy square one, every single person voluntarily, without me even asking, said that they had to strap down their solar oven because it would blow over in the wind. This solar oven, I have the option of using the reflectors or not. But with the other one, they're not removable. So if I get a gust of wind with this one, I'm not worried about it tipping over. Another nice thing about the Solavore oven is it's very lightweight. Any 8-year-old child or older can easily move this around. To make the apple crisp, we've also dipped into our food storage. Over here we have some sprouted wheat flour that my wife sprouted and made into flour. We have some apple pie filling that she made in November of 2011. We have some bottled butter that we actually bottled using the sport oven from Solavore. We've got some organic sucanat, ground cinnamon and nutmeg, and some rolled oats from November 2015. We'll mix this all together and get a wonderful apple crisp. After I brushed on a light layer of coconut oil, I added the homemade apple pie filling to the pot. In the meantime, my wife took the other ingredients and mixed it all together for the topping. Now we just pour the topping above the apple pie mix and it's ready to go in the oven. Well, I've added the apple crisp to the solar oven and now I'll just let things cook. And that's probably the biggest advantage I have seen with this particular Solavore brand solar oven, is it will not burn my food. During Hurricane Ike in Texas, when the whole area was without electricity for up to 14 days, people got excited about pulling out their solar ovens. And so we had all different kinds of brands and models of solar ovens getting pulled out and being used for the first time. Big mistake. Don't wait for an emergency to test out your preparedness equipment. We'd been using ours for years, and so we were very familiar with using it. Those who had the square boxy solar ovens with the reflectors that could not be removed put their dinner in their oven in the morning, went out like the rest of us, removing trees off of neighbors' properties and helping where we could. Because there was no electricity, sanitation was an issue because you couldn't pump water. So moms were taking care of all the kids that were at home, taking care of sanitation, trying to cook meals. They put dinner outside in the solar ovens. And unfortunately, many of those dinners that were in the boxy solar oven were burned and dried out. That wasn't the case in any of the solar ovens from Solavore. Because this cooks at a lower temperature, you'll get a nice consistent and even cooking, and your food will never burn. As stated on the Solavore website, the maximum temperature you'll get from these with the solar oven reflectors on is about 350 degrees. With the other one, you're up to 450 degrees or hotter. And then we all know if you cook and leave something in the oven at 450 degrees all day, you may not be happy with the results. So by cooking slower, more consistently, maintaining the nutritional value, I like the Solavore solar oven. And I have, as you've seen me use this and demonstrate this on video, over the last 4 years. So with no worries, I'll be able to go about my activities during the day and not worry about my food burning, and we'll be able to come out this evening and get a nice hot dinner. As I'm working around the property, if I remember, I may come and turn the solar oven as the sun moves, but I'm not really worried about doing that. The reason why I'm not worried about moving the solar oven to track the sun, which would definitely be a benefit, because as I was testing different homemade and manufactured solar ovens, I found that when the clouds went over the sun, the other ovens really started losing their temperature quickly, whereas the Solavore solar oven maintained its temperature. So I actually called them and said, why does your solar oven maintain its temperature when these other ovens are dropping so dramatically fast? And they explained to me about the 1-inch thick reflective high density foam insulation that's on the bottom and the sides, and the dual wall construction on the top of the solar oven that really insulates it well and maintains a constant temperature even if the clouds may move across the sun. That is a big advantage in knowing that your food will be cooked while you're busy taking care of other things around the house or during an emergency situation. It's about 11:30 right now, so we're not in the hottest part of the day, but it is a clear, bright, sunny, cloudless day. And as I had hoped, the temperature is at 200 degrees. So this is a perfect day, as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, to do solar oven cooking, even though it is sub-freezing temperatures out here. So when you have a clear day, use your solar oven. If it's partially cloudy, it's simply going to take longer to get the food cooked, but you'll be able to cook it with enough sunshine between the clouds. So things are progressing well. I'm busy doing other things. I'm editing some videos and working around the property, so I'll get back to being busy around here and let dinner cook by itself. It's just after 1 o'clock. It's 22 degrees outside, 17 degrees with wind chill. Let's see what our cooking temperature is inside of the Solavore solar oven. Well, it looks like the temperature is held really close to 200. It's about 210 degrees right now, so it's perfect cooking temperatures. I love cooking at these low temperatures, which really enhance the flavor and keep the nutrition level very high. Now I'm going to leave this sit here for several more hours, simply to illustrate the point that the food doesn't get burned. So in an emergency or real life, you can put this outside, even in freezing cold weather like today, go to church, go to work, and come back and have a nice, hot, high nutritious, flavorful dinner. It's 2:30 in the afternoon, typically the warmest part of the day here during the winter, and the temperature inside of the Solavore solar oven has still remained pretty consistent at about 210 degrees, which is really awesome. That shows how well this is insulated and how well it will consistently cook the food. Typically using a solar oven, it'll take about twice as long to cook as it would in a conventional electric or gas oven, because we're cooking at a lower heat. But compared to a crock pot, it takes about the same amount of time. I absolutely love that I'm cooking dinner with no wood, with no gas, with no electricity, simply using the sun. As you can see, the sun has set. It's 5 o'clock. That can only mean one thing. It's dinner time. Let's go eat. Let's see how this looks. Wow, I wish you could smell this apple cobbler. It smells so good. And then the spaghetti squash right next to it, fully cooked. Let's put a fork in it and see how it looks. Okay, let's give this a taste test here. Oh, look at that. That good or what? Of course, it's like me to have dessert before dinner, right? Let's try dinner. Put a fork in here. Okay, here we go. Everything's still nice and warm. Just pull it out. Usually we use a spoon to pull this out of the shell, but we're just not willing to wait that long. Yep. Put some homemade spaghetti sauce on that. And we've got dinner. Hopefully you can see why I've been recommending this oven for the last 4, almost 5 years. It's simply incredible. And for those last 4 or 5 years, I've been simply telling people, go find the best price you can. This entire system with the reflectors, the 2 3-quart pots, the thermometer, the completely insulated solar oven, and a WAPI, which is a water purification indicator, typically sells for $270. Right now, there is a special going on with the lowest price I have ever seen them advertise them for. It's $239, including free shipping to your house. If you've been thinking about getting a solar oven, now is a great time to do that. I contacted Solavore about 6 months ago and said, you know, I've probably sold hundreds of these units for you over the last several years. I think it's time for me to become a distributor. So they signed me up as a distributor. So I'm going to put up my affiliate link right here. And if you want to buy this through my link, I'll get compensated a little bit for my time and work on these videos. And you'll get the best price on the oven. If you don't want to use my link, that's perfectly fine. The price doesn't go up and doesn't go down. You can buy it wherever you want. But if you like the work I've done on this channel and want to support it by buying a solar oven that you're going to buy anyway, feel free to use my affiliate link. All I can tell you is that you will absolutely be completely happy with your oven. Matter of fact, we have a family of 6, so we have 2 of these ovens. If you're interested in cooking energy free, no wood, no propane, no gas, no electricity, and you want to have the advantage of having high nutritious food cooked at low temperatures, knowing that you can leave it outside, do your work, and not have it burn or blow over, I highly recommend the Solavore Solar Oven. I'll have my affiliate link for the best pricing below this video. I'd love to hear your comments as you use this and any favorite recipes. This is LDS Prepper reminding you, if ye are prepared, you shall not fear. This is one preparedness item that we have in our pantry and hope you will too.